Sorry, could you
How are the
repeat?
things at your place in Ukraine? Everything is fine?
Not really, it could be better if the war will finish, but unfortunately, the war is going on, but we are trying to do our best. And now with my colleagues, we in Ukraine, in Kyiv, and will conduct research, teach students, so do everything that we could do in this situation. Thank you.
That's excellent. So we still have 5 minutes and we will start at sharp 4. Would it be
Okay,
fine?
so maybe
Great.
I will try to open my presentation and to check is everything
Please,
okay
please,
or not.
please.
Okay, one moment. Could you see my presentation, I hope?
Yes, it is visible now.
Okay, thanks. And now could you see the second, yes, slide? Is it visible for you? Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Elena Viktorovna.
Hello, Dr. Yelena. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Raghvendra.
How are you? Everything is fine?
Yes, thank you.
That's great. We'll start in a couple of minutes, Dr. Yelena.
Yes, we are ready.
Yes, we're ready. We're always ready, It's our features of Ukrainians, to be ready in different
That's true.
situation always.
That's true. So are you working, your university is working in the offline mode or is it hybrid mode, online and offline both?
It's a mixed form, yes, because we
Okay.
conduct lecture online, but maybe in 1 week, yes, I hope that we could start conduct practical classes and seminar offline at the university. I hope that we could manage it.
Okay, that's
Continue.
perfect.
But only for bachelors.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We'll start in a couple of minutes. Okay, so I think we should start. I was waiting for Honorable Vice Chancellor to join us, but he seems to be busy in some other meeting, or probably he will join us in the due course of this session. So friends, let me introduce Dr. Ola formally. Friends, as you know, today's session is organized on the topic Building an Innovation-Driven Entrepreneurial Ecosystem, the Ukrainian Experience. Dr. Olha Meliarchuk is an associate professor in the Department of Business Economics and Entrepreneurship. She gives lectures on innovative entrepreneurship, leadership, and partnership in business, corporate entrepreneurship. Dr. Olha was the member of research project realizing the potential of young scientists in the integrating science business education during 2020 and 2022. She was a LKSP scholar from the October 2020 to June 2021 at Wrocław University in Poland. Her research topics are business incubation and acceleration, Polish experience for Ukrainian. From September 2020 to June 2023, Dr. Ola was also the IU Ukraine non-residential scholar at the Kelly School of Business, Indiana University, Bloomington, USA. Dr. Ola completed internship at Wrocław Technology Park, MIT Enterprise Forum, CEE Technology, transfer office at Wrocław University. I believe Dr. Ola is the best person to talk on the innovation entrepreneurial ecosystem. It will be interesting for all of us to know that how the Ukrainian experience about these entrepreneurial ecosystem is beneficial in the Indian context also. Dr. Ola, over to you.
Dr. Akhenda, thank you so much for the introduction. Welcome to today's webinar about innovation-driven entrepreneurial ecosystem. I'm excited to be here and to have the opportunity to speak with all of you today. Thank you for taking your time. So as Dr. Akhenda mentioned, I took a deep dive into the topic of innovation and entrepreneurship maybe 4 years ago, maybe a little bit more. And I'm super interested in researching of business incubation and acceleration, corporate entrepreneurship, technology transfer and technology and knowledge transfer, and university business collaboration, because I strongly believe that researching this topic will help to build a strong, effective, innovation-driven entrepreneurial ecosystem. Okay, so let's start. So during our webinar, we will discuss the following questions. The first one, the fundamental elements of an entrepreneurial ecosystem. We'll talk about what is entrepreneurial ecosystem and what are the key elements of this system. The second question about the role of business support organization in entrepreneurial ecosystem buildings. And the main focus here will be how to drive innovation, how to implement innovation and foster innovation in the context of entrepreneurial ecosystem. And of course, we will take into the consideration the Ukrainian experience and maybe a little bit of Polish experience, because of course I had the opportunity to work and internship in this country. So I will try to mix all this experience. And the third question will be about entrepreneurial university as the key component of innovation-driven entrepreneurial ecosystem, because I think that my colleagues and I work at the university and believe that we also can influence on the building of a strong entrepreneurial ecosystem. Okay, in general, what is entrepreneurial ecosystem? According to the institutional theory, entrepreneurial ecosystem involves the purposive action on individuals and organizations aimed at creating, maintaining, and disrupting institutions. A little bit later, according to the major researchers in this sphere, there is a necessity to transition from institution theory, so without linkages, to territorial collaboration. This is the essence of triple helix approach.
Sorry, we see only the first slide.
Oh, okay. I don't understand why, because I'm on the third slide.
Yes.
Okay, one moment. I'm so engaged, but one moment. Could you see the first slide? Is it visible for you?
Yes.
And now the second about the agenda.
No, still it is the first one.
Oh, okay. One moment. in such manner? Could you
Yes,
see?
yes.
Andrew?
Yes,
Maybe
okay.
I will still use this format of presentation, okay? Because I don't know, I can see everything. Okay, sorry for this. So I just said that there are three main topics for today's discussion about entrepreneurial ecosystem. And the next slide, I hope that you can see, yes, there are different approaches and definition. What is entrepreneurial ecosystem in general? So I said about maybe institutional theory. It's like the beginning of research in this sphere. And also according to STEM, and this is a recent research of entrepreneurial ecosystem. So we can define entrepreneurial ecosystem is a set of interdependent actors and factors coordinated in such a way that they enable productive entrepreneurship within the particular territory. And the latest research in this topic, according to the scientist Cantor Lehman, they conducted research in 2029. There is a necessity and importance of transition from the entrepreneurial ecosystem with a focus on a new film creation towards an ecosystem with a core focus on internal commercialization of a knowledge. So we can see there is a transition and necessity, not only knowledge creation, but also knowledge and technology transfer. So the process of commercialization, the results of research and developments, both at universities and also within the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Okay, so to sum up the main features of entrepreneurial ecosystem. The first one, that we should consider the entrepreneurial ecosystem as a set of interdependent and interconnected subjects of the ecosystem. The next one, that elements of the entrepreneurial ecosystem form a dynamic and both dynamic and self-regulatory network. And also, if you are talking about sustainable development, in the framework of sustainable development, the development of the entrepreneurial ecosystem contributes to the intensification of entrepreneurial activities and achieve those sustainable development goals. So in this, this feature confirms the statement that all changes in entrepreneurial ecosystem must lead us to develop sustainable development goals and to have the impact, into the society in general. The next slide, this is one of the maybe famous and the most popular concept of entrepreneurial ecosystems. The author is Eisenberg. So according to this system, yes, there are a lot of components. If you're talking about entrepreneurial ecosystems, there are a lot of actors, but we should divide them or maybe classify them into 6 main domains. The first domains will be government policy. So in order to build effective entrepreneurial ecosystem, we should build and we should make effective government policy and build effective institution of supporting the development of entrepreneurship, and also build and enable to build effective academia and research institution. If you're talking about financial capital, it's obvious in order to not only to start a business, to launch a business, but to scale up the business, we should find financial resources for it. So in this case, we should think about development of angel investment, different venture capital, private equity, and public capital markets in order to support the development of startups, for instance, in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. The culture is crucial because if you want to develop entrepreneurial mindset, we should tell and speak about not only failures in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, but to speak and to tell about success stories, about in our case, about Ukrainian companies, about Ukrainian startups. Next one, support. Support in this case, we mean that we should focus on the development of infrastructure. Infrastructure in general, if you're talking about macro level, so telecommunication, transportation and logistics, energy, and also building innovative infrastructure. We'll talk about this a little bit later. So business incubator, accelerator, technology park, industrial and science park, in order to support. Yes, in literature you can find like the definition of all these entities, like business support organization. The next element will be human capital. Of course, if you are talking about post-industrial economy, if you are talking about new economy, we can say that there is a transition from material resources to non-material or to knowledge. So knowledge is the basic for the development in our global world. So the main focus to invest in human capital, particularly in intellectual capital development, and also invest in the networks. And the last element in this model, this is markets. So in this, if you're talking about local market is not developed, we cannot also develop the process of launching and starting a business. So it's also an important element of this theory. The next slide will be about innovation driven, yes, because our topic today is not only about entrepreneurial ecosystem, but the focus will be on innovation. On this slide, you can see the framework from MIT. This is Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and the researchers from that university propose such kind of framework. And you can see that there is a huge focus on the interconnection of ICAP and ECAP. What is ICAP? ICAP, this is innovation capacity. So it means that we should focus our intention on building the capacity of innovation, on innovation of the city, innovation of the local community, innovation if you're talking about at the national level. So we should take our consideration and attention on building on building new to the world ideas. And the most important that these ideas and this innovation should impact on the development of the country, so creating job, attracting qualified human capital and talents, and also fostering innovation. And the second element here is ECAP. What is ECAP? ECAP, this is entrepreneurship capacity. So in this meaning, we are talking the focus, the enterprising capacity and the business environment for forming new enterprises. So it means that if you're talking about business environment, we should create such kind of conditions that could help launch business and also to scale up this business. But on the basic of this framework, you can see foundational institution. It's mean like business support organization. We should take our attention on building and development this kind of business support organization. So the next slide will talk about this business supporting organization. There are a lot of such kind of actors in entrepreneurial ecosystem. For instance, business incubator, accelerator, investment funds, industrial park, technology parks. On this slide, you can see the differences between and similarities between business incubator and accelerator. So this is a such discussable question if you are talking about scientific literature. What are the main differences between business incubator and accelerator? Because some researchers point out that accelerator is like a new model of business incubator. Others tell that this is a different entity or different different type or actor of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. On this slide, you can see the main maybe differences between these two entities or actors of entrepreneurial ecosystem. So if you're talking about business incubator, the main aim is to support business creation and development, but here is the focus to support business creation and how to launch, how to start your business. If you are talking about accelerator, the main aim is to accelerate business growth. It means that to scale up existing business. Space provision, if we're talking about business incubator, yes, usually made available, but for accelerator, it will be occasionally because there is a greater emphasis on business support services. If you are talking about service portfolio, yes, there are a lot of training seminars for skill building, but based on my experience, it only the main focus will be on such kind of support like accounting and legal support. So the main knowledge needed to start a business. But if you are talking about accelerator, the main focus will be for skill building, will be for growing. And please pay attention that this is different from business incubator, intense mentoring with focus on growth strategy. And also, if you take part in accelerator, you will have access to finance, to grant, to seed capital, equity, VC fund. Sometimes if you're talking about corporate accelerator, it will be access to CVC. It means corporate venture capital. Okay, and service provision, business incubator on demand, and accelerator mandatory and provided in a structured program. Length of support, business incubator often up to 3-4 years or more, and accelerator, this is educational program, usually a span of from 3 to 6 months. And maybe this will be the main differences between business incubator and accelerator. So on this slide, you can see the main conclusions that incubation and acceleration program are characterized by heterogeneity of models as well as heterogeneous outcomes. So I can say that maybe in reality, in business practice, there is no like poor or clear model of business incubator or accelerator. That's why we have heterogeneous outcomes and heterogeneity of models. Mostly business incubator model is based on closed innovation, and accelerator enables the transition from innovation in-house to the open innovation model due to the broad variety of network with investor, with corporation, with different funds, and so on. Also, if you're talking about accelerator, the main objective of accelerators is scaling up the business on global growth, because there is also a tendency or trend that accelerator prefer to work with such kind of definition like born global startup. It means that this startup has a potential to grow not only on a local market, but also to be competitive on the global area. The next one, accelerator aimed for seed stage startups or early stage startups. This suggestions was made in 2014, and now I read some literature and trying to update my conclusions. So in 2024, there is no clear classification. Accelerator now also try to attract in their cohorts also early stage and growth stage. So now we can see the confirmations that now there is no clear differences between business incubator and accelerator. But both business incubator and accelerators provide mentorship and guidance. However, the focus, as we mentioned before, is different. On this slide, you can see the example of one of accelerator. This is accelerator Central Eastern European based equity-free startup acceleration program affiliated to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, is located physically in Warsaw in Poland. I had the internship there, and they are host many startups, not only from Poland, from maybe also Europe, and they are welcome also startups from Ukraine. In this accelerator propose a flexible educational curriculum program based on the 24 steps of disciplined entrepreneurship. This is it's a theory suggested by Billy Olet from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I have this book. You can see this book. It's I recommend this book to all my students in the context of our discipline, innovative entrepreneurship, and I highly recommend you to read this book, or simply to have this book, even if you're a beginner entrepreneur or you are experienced entrepreneur, because it's a great tool to understand all the steps, and maybe to understand to know about the main fails if you are talking about entrepreneurship. Also, this accelerator has vertical industry focus on technological startups from different industries like new energy, sustainability, fintech, insurtech, martech, smart city, health, and geographical focus. And also, if you're talking about application process, maybe it will be interested for you if you have a brilliant business idea for your startup. So it will be great to know about the application process. So application process is online, multi-staged, and founder-friendly. On this slide, you can see the main elements of this selection process. So this is online application form. You should fill out this form. Then your online application form would be evaluated by 3 independent international experts. And the next stage will be the assessment of the application by a team of partner corporation. What does it mean? It means that this accelerator cooperate with a corporation, a large established company. And so this is a special kind of collaboration. We will talk about this a little bit later. But this is a great maybe model, the example of cooperation between accelerator and between a corporation. Then will be online interview, and the next stage, selection of 25 startups to the acceleration program. And please pay attention on 4 steps of application. You should you should write about some basic information about your startup, then give some personal and team members information. So please also here pay attention that this acceleration will apply your application in case if it will be a team. So this accelerator not works with solo entrepreneur. And also you can prepare like pitch and key questions about startup solution. You should write what is the main problem, how you can how your product or service, or in general your solution could help to solve this problem. The next one, you should analyze your market. So in this case, of course, we can do nothing about the customer analysis, our potential analysis. You can calculate a lot of indicators like total addressable market to calculate serviceable addressable market, and so on. Also information about economics and some financial. You should calculate some some financial indicators, and also you should put information about current needs. On the next slide, a little bit about this collaboration. Yes, the collaboration between a corporate and a startup. Between a corporation and a startup. So why it is beneficial both for startup and for a corporation using the accelerator, because I think that maybe you will agree or maybe not agree that innovation, if you are talking about a large established company, innovation process in large established company and a startup will be a little bit different, yes, because they use both different business models. In a large company, established company, traditional research and development department will try to find maybe new ways of combination and reconfiguration existing resources. But if you're talking about a startup business model is built on mostly on innovative activity based on creativity, so which allows to get radically creative new solution for business. So using accelerator as a mediator between a corporation and a startup will give additional benefits both for startup, both for a corporate, of course, both for accelerator, and in order help to build effectively innovation-driven entrepreneurial ecosystem. So also you can see that here that it also helped to develop of new product, radical innovation, as well as existing business, and determine new areas of its implementation. Also additional for a corporation, such kind of collaboration will help to create a reputation or brand of social responsible companies, which enable regional and economic development. The next very important, crucial, important actor of entrepreneurial ecosystem will be technology park. If you are talking about technology park, the main objective maybe will be to provide an environment that will enable the localization of various tech-related companies. So there are a little bit difference, yes, between industrial parks, between technology parks, and between science park. The main focus in technology park will be to help tech startups, to help tech-related companies develop, to scale up their business, and also to help maybe to commercialize their result. This is an example of also Wrocław Technology Park. This park is located in Poland, but now there are a lot of residents or locators from all over Europe, and also after Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine, a lot of Ukrainian companies relocated their business to this park because it's a very great maybe innovation hub, because it's very close to Germany, it's very close to Czech Republic, and there is a lot of possibilities. But this park focus on deep tech startups and deep tech companies, small, medium-sized enterprises, and also large companies. If we have time, one moment, I will make my notes. I will tell you a little bit about maybe the main services in this technology park. We have time, yes, okay. In this park, so what does this park offers, yes, in general? The first will be, one moment, it will be business infrastructure. If you're talking about business infrastructure, this park consists of 8 buildings of an office, laboratory, and production warehouse nature. So there are a lot of offices, laboratories, and production and warehouse space for rent. Also, everything is very flexible because there are offices, units available in wide variety of sizes, from 30 square meters to as much as 300, 400 square meters. So entrepreneurs can find the office they need at any given time. The next one, you can see industrial hall. So there are production and storage halls in this technology park. And the hall offers over 20,000 square meters of space that will meet the expectation and needs of companies operating on any scale. And also, thanks to the technical facilities, they can be used both as production and storage space. The next service will be business incubators. In this park, there are 2 dynamically developing incubators. The first one is the first incubator focuses on development of academic entrepreneurship. So in this business incubator, there is different activities to support academic entrepreneurs, students, doctoral students, graduates, and academic staff who start up a business in the technology sector. And the second business incubator, I think it's a great activity and it's a great initiative because the second business incubator was created to support and develop business without barriers. So the incubator is a place adapted to the needs of people with disabilities. It means that it helps people with disabilities to integrate into society, to be business active, and to be both personal and it could lead to maybe to professional and to personal self-realization if you're talking about this kind of business incubator. The next one, as usual, in this technology park, you can find and you can receive consulting some services and networking. Also, there are a lot of laboratories. So there are 14 laboratories and prototype workshops. And companies can get support in the implementation of research and development project, as well as take advantage of training in the field of chemistry, biotechnology, molecular biology, and so on. The next one, technological line. This technology park is specialized in life science industry. So if a company or a startup are working in this industry, so there are a lot of production line, technological line, and they can use this production at the technological line for their needs. The next one will be research and development. Of course, this park is connected and is working with different research institutions in the area, in such area. And the last one, but maybe not the least one, will be educational center. It's very also, as for me, interesting initiative because education center deals with promoting science among children. If you're talking about development of entrepreneurial maybe mindset, in this case, we should start maybe not from the university level, not from high school level, but start to promote entrepreneurship from children. So also there are a lot of activities for children. For instance, there are a lot of workshops focused around science subjects such as chemistry, mathematics, physics, also virtual reality, ecology, genetics, and design. So I hope that this information was at least interesting, but maybe useful for all of us, because it will be great maybe in Ukraine in future also to build such kind of technology park, which help to also to build innovation-driven entrepreneurial ecosystem in general. The next slide, I think it's also very important actor of entrepreneurial ecosystem, technology transfer office. Based on my practical experience, this is a center, an element very important for building university entrepreneurial ecosystem in general. So the main role is to mediate relationship between academia and business, and also to enable, to help the transfer of knowledge and technology to business sphere, to industry. So if you're talking about technology transfer office, the specialists in this center facilitate intellectual property right management, also help to commercialize the result of research and development. And also maybe the main focus here will be to move innovations from the lab to society. I can say that I know maybe it's only in our region, in Eastern European countries, that there is a huge gap, huge gap between academia and business. And even in case a researcher at university, academic staff, or separate scientist, he or she has bright ideas, bright invention, it's very hard to commercialize. Yes, it's very hard to explain business that it's not only invention, but this invention could be transformed into a particular business, into particular product or services, which will be interesting for business. And you know that even there is a gap if you're talking about language, language using of academic staff and business, because there could be a brilliant business idea or invention with very good technological features, but it's very how to formulate. It's very complicated to explain business how they could implement or use this invention in business practice. And maybe another feature that in business they want like quick results. If you're talking about deep tech technology, there couldn't be a fast and quick result, especially if you're talking about pharmacy and other different industries, because the timeline, the span from laboratories to market, it could be even 2, 3, or 4 years. And the next slide, of course, if you are talking about Ukraine, we cannot talk that everything is okay, because unfortunately now war in Ukraine is going on, and we now all live in this circumstances. And today is the 16th of February. So today is 723th day of Russian full-scale military invasion of Ukraine. And now at this moment there is a very complicated battle on the eastern part of Ukraine. And it is the largest conventional war in Ukraine since the Second World War. And now the active length of front line, approximately 1,500 kilometers. It's the distance between Boston and Chicago. And if I'm not mistaken, if I calculate properly, this is the distance between New Delhi and Mumbai. Please, if it's not, please correct me, but it's very huge. Yes, it's very huge, a huge distance. And the war in Ukraine influence all of us. according to the information, more than 13 million people were displaced, almost 8 million refugees across Europe, and more than 5 million internally displaced people in Ukraine. So Ukrainians, we every day lose lives, soldiers, civilians, also lose homes, dear place, and loved ones, but we are trying to do our best to close our victory. And at our university, we are continuing to work, to teach, to research, and with my colleague, with Dr. Elena, we're now also in Kyiv, in Ukraine, and we are trying to do our best. So what about business? Yes, what about business in general? So as you can see, there are a lot of initiatives to save Ukraine in general and to help to support the building of innovation-driven and maybe not the building at this time, but to support, to maintain the function of entrepreneurial ecosystem in Ukraine. There you can see a different, on this slide, different of initiative from Ukrainian Startup Fund, from Google for startups. There are a lot of programs. Also our very not famous, but one of our national project, Dear Business. This is a national project created to support entrepreneurship and export. There are two components: online platform and also a network. So there you can find different, you can find information about how to start your business, how to launch your business, and maybe how to support your business during the wartime. Also on this slide, you can see Unit City. This is our innovation park. It is located in Ukraine, and in Ukrainian it is written "Вхід в укриття." It means that there are also this park now is equipped to work even during the wartime. It means there is a bomb shelter in case of air raid siren or the risk of missile attack. You can go down to the bomb shelter and then come back and to continue to work and live. Also on this slide, you can see a very good initiative if you're talking about researchers and scientists, Science for Ukraine. This is an initiative that helps to connect researchers from Ukraine and other different countries all over the Ukraine. There are a lot of opportunities to get scholarships for Ukraine and to exchange ideas. On this slide, you also could see different Ukrainian business support programs. As we mentioned before, Ukrainian Startup Fund provides grants to support projects which help to bring the victory closer. But you can see on this slide that this fund is aimed to support startups, not only that have creative and great idea, but also that help to increase our defense capability and help in reconstruction in the future. The next initiative, USAID, US Program of International Development, Agency of International Development Competitive Economy Program in Ukraine. Also, there are a lot of grant programs to support and restore business. The next one, Google for Startups Ukraine Support Fund. This fund supported already about 50 companies, and additionally every startup received Google Cloud and support from Google managers. Also there are two programs. Number 4 is the program to coordinate, to support and to work with network of startup association in Europe. And the last one is one of our famous UKU Business School University. They also launched 7 Wings Fund in order to help startup, especially in military industry, to set up their business. Okay, and this is the example of also one of the initiative for defense tech startup and defense tech companies. So this is a platform for defense tech powered by our government. And there are a lot of possibilities for international partners from different countries. So maybe you will be interested also. So there are access to the Ukrainian defense innovation with a soft landing procedure for a foreign partner. And there are a lot of networking events, pitches, demo days, hackathons, meetups, and etc. And I think it's a very good also idea, initiative, and also opportunity, development and testing of Ukrainian and international advanced technologies. So international partner would have the possibility to test and development in cooperation with Ukrainian companies, advanced technology in military sphere. Okay, and maybe the last topic for today's class, for today's webinar, maybe a few minutes, it's about Entrepreneurial University. As we mentioned before, it's very important, crucial for educational, for educational process, but also for entrepreneurial ecosystem building, to create environment at the university where young scientists, where students, where academic staff, or maybe not academic staff, could develop and implement their innovative ideas. So one of the concepts is the triple helix model of innovation. According to this concept, Entrepreneurial University is defined as a university that has the capacity to innovate, recognize, and create opportunities. So we can consider Entrepreneurial University at different levels. The first level will be to form individual skills and competences of students, young scientists, using different trainings program of entrepreneurship and different contests, for instance, startup context and others. The next one, the organizational level. At this level, it will be great to build infrastructure and processes. It means to open different entrepreneurship centers at university, to open technology and knowledge transfer center, and etc. And the highest level of such kind of entrepreneurial university will be not to develop individual skills, not to open separate like university transfer technology center, but to build entrepreneurial ecosystem at the institutional level. So in this case, it will help to develop students entrepreneurship, youth entrepreneurship, and also academic entrepreneurship at university. And the last point, a little bit about our research project. So with my colleagues from our department, Olena Hrebishkova and Irina Kubareva, last year we started a research project about entrepreneurial opportunities, competencies, and intentions among university students in a cross-cultural context. We conducted a survey, student entrepreneurship survey, last year from April to May, and the main objective of that survey was to explore entrepreneurial environment at the universities, to identify entrepreneurial competencies. It means knowledge, soft skills, hard skills of our students, and to explore entrepreneurial intentions. And the results of this survey was conducted on the platform Qualtrics, covers 27 questions about entrepreneurial environment, entrepreneurial competencies, and entrepreneurial intentions. During our first round of our survey, we received 422 responses from Ukraine, Poland, and Georgia. And this year we are going to continue our research. So the main objective also will be to analyze the student needs, intentions, and expectation on entrepreneurship education, to determine the factors that help or hinder the realization of their entrepreneurial potential. And also we welcome to our research team researchers from different countries, because for us it is important to identify cross-cultural differences in student entrepreneurship. And also students from different countries, please join our survey if you will be interested. So this is my contact information, my email, my profile in LinkedIn. So I hope that this information was a little bit useful for you today. So in case you have any questions, doubts, or maybe suggestions, so please write. Thank you so much for your time and for your attention.
It was a very interesting session, Dr. Ola. Students, if you have a question, you can please ask now. I suppose a couple of students were raising...
Sorry, I have one suggestion,
Please.
Yes, I'm very curious about, Indian startup ecosystem and entrepreneurial ecosystem. I have read that in India is, is innovation hub, yes, if you are talking about startup and if you're talking about entrepreneurship. So maybe the students now could share their insights, or maybe do they have experience of entrepreneurship support as a students, and how their opinion, the development of such kind of initiative are important at the university or not? It's very interesting, yes, to know, to exchange, yes, to exchange ideas and to get to know maybe more about some insight from your side.
Students, if you have anything in your mind, you please unmute yourself and you can talk now.
Please share your ideas.
A couple of students, they have some questions. They raised their hand in the beginning of the session.
Okay.
Shobit, was that you? Okay, do we have any question? Meanwhile, they are thinking, just as an information sharing, Dr. Ola, you said it correctly. India, around 10 years back, this new government of Prime Minister Modi, he started a movement called Startup India movement. And since then, in the past 10 years, the face of entrepreneurship in India as a system has changed. It has drastically transformed. I think we are, if I'm not mistaken, we are third in the rank, USA being the first and China being the second and India being the third in the
it's great.
number of startups and number of unicorns every year they are coming up. So this government is really doing great. It is, it has created a system where the young minds are welcome to come up with their entrepreneurial ideas, and government supports them. Government has created a huge fund to support the young entrepreneurs. So I believe in the time to come, maybe in the 5 to 10 years, the system in India will drastically change further, and you will see that many multinational companies will come up from India. Though there are already many, but in the future it will come large in numbers.
Oh, it's a great result. And how do you think? What is the main, maybe not reasons, the main factor that enables the growth of entrepreneurial ecosystem?
As you mentioned during your presentations also, government policy plays a very important role in that. You see, unless the government supports, there are people who have limitations on the financial aspects and other technical aspects. So the government has already created a huge fund to support the startups, and it is providing them seed grants. They need not to return it, right? Apart from that, government is also helping the young entrepreneurs to adopt and to get the technology also. It is encouraging them to get the technology partner for their business ideas. Moreover, government is also, focusing on the technology park. You were mentioning during your presentation about the technology parks. In India, if I'm not mistaken, we have more than 1,100 technology parks across the country. So probably the government is helping the startup into two categories: normal startups, which has a business idea, and technology-based startup. It has the separate policy to help the technology-based startup. Ultimately, technology will be the game changer in the time to come. Technology infusion with the business idea has a huge potential to scale up the business. So government is focusing to integrate the technology with the business ideas. Moreover, government is helping the young entrepreneurs with the finances, and the government has also made the friendly atmosphere, single window clearance system for the young entrepreneurs. Ultimately, what happens around 10-15 years back, if you have some business idea, and then you have to take approval from 10-15 places, and then meanwhile you take approvals from the government agencies, you lose your enthusiasm to pursue that idea any further. But now these things have been relaxed, have been simplified. So now we see that there is a entrepreneurship friendly ecosystem is gradually being created here, and the results are there. There are many unicorns every year you see, technology based startups you see, and I'm happy to share that I myself has incubated 3 business ideas of our MBA students, and 2 of them are really doing excellent. In fact, we are going to sign another MOU with this one of this this is a startup. It is a recognized startup, and it is really doing great. I'm really happy to be a part of the incubation of this business idea.
Oh, it's great. I hope that after the war, we could implement the best practices of
Definitely.
entrepreneurship development from different countries, from Poland, from Germany, and also from India. If you have such great results, the main maybe before the war, we also have the main problem that was the financing, that was the venture capital, because maybe 85% of all venture funds was from Europe and was from the USA, and they were focused maybe on startups which are on growth stage, not on early stage and seed stage, but only on growth stage. But I think that for the development of entrepreneurial ecosystem, we should invest in early stage startups and seed stage startups in order to create something in general.
That's true. I think in India, the government has a special planning to financially support the early startups, because it is difficult for them to get the investment from the venture capitalist, because they can give you the funds when they see that your business is scalable and it is sustainable also. But there are many ideas in the beginning, probably they have the risky proposition. So the government has the separate plans to support these early entrepreneurs, because it is difficult for them to get the investment from the venture capitalist. I'm sure in the around 10 years time, you will see that India has become the entrepreneur superpower.
It's great,
Meanwhile, the students, if there are any question, you can ask. You please raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself, and you can please go ahead with your question. I'm sure young brains should have the lot of questions with the entrepreneurship. You see, jobs will not be able to fix your problems, right? You should focus more and more on the entrepreneurship. Okay, there is one question, it seems. Nirpesh, please unmute yourself and switch on your webcam if it allows you, and ask your question.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, thank you for the brilliant presentation. It was quite knowledgeable. My query here is that since the government and the VCs focus so much on the innovation part of the startups and how much scalable they are, we are currently in India seeing many startups which are scalable and innovative, but are not profitable in any manner. So they are basically scalable. They are good for the consumer. They are good for the entrepreneur in an innovative standpoint, but not profitable in as such metric, since there is some flaws in their business models. And as you have mentioned in the PPT also, that there are 2 different organizations, the incubators and the accelerators. So incubators work more on the growth strategy and business model point, and the accelerators help in accelerating the business to a higher scale. So do you think profitability is somewhere in this scenario losing itself or not coming in par with the other things that are important for the startup ecosystem?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. If I understood properly, yes, the question was about partnership, yes, partnership between investor and startup, yes, and how to build such kind of partnership effectively, both for both parties. You know, there are a lot of suggestions and a lot of opinions about this. The main question, I think, if you're talking about startup and investor, will be the solution of startup when to start dealing with an investor, because it's a very sensible question. If you're talking about
Sorry to interrupt. My question was regarding profitability. Making profits from your startup. I'm mainly concerned profit parts, the margins that they're able to generate. Since scalability is a thing that would happen in for an indefinite period. You can scale to any market, to any size. You will be needing of funds in an indefinite matter. But if I will restate it, self-sustainability of a startup, is that thing which is falling behind in all these aspects, self-sustainability, profitability, or anything similar to that matter in a startup ecosystem?
Okay, I can say about maybe sustainability aspect. If you are talking about entrepreneurial ecosystems, there is a great trend or maybe a tendency to work with impact investor, because such kind of impact investor focuses on startups which can offer or propose solutions that can impact on the society in general and can impact the development of entrepreneurial ecosystem. And I know that in Europe, especially in Poland and Germany, there are a lot of such kind of investment fund that are trying to invest in solutions which could be potentially sustainable, to lead to sustainable development in this region. And as for Ukraine, I think it will be a great solution for post-war period, because we should focus us not only on the development of startup with great ideas, but also on that solutions that could potentially have impact on a society and on a local community.
Maybe Dr. Ola, if you permit, can I add something in Indian context to this question of Nirpesh?
Okay.
Great. Nirpesh, I'm sure you are aware about the high rate of failure of startups in India. It is around more than 90% of startups in the first 3 years of their beginning, they collapse. And the reason being, you see, ultimately at the end of the day, profitability matters, right? If your business has the potential or scalability aspect, if it is there, it is possible to scale it up, but it does not have the profitability aspect. It doesn't generate the profit. Government cannot support you beyond the limit. And if you are consuming a lot of funds, right, because you want to expand, because you want to explore on the technology or the business idea you have, you are consuming too much of funds, ultimately that will lead you into the trouble. You see, we have so many technology-based startups in India. Nowadays, what is happening with the Paytm, I'm sure you are aware about this. Competition in that area is too much, is too high. Nirpesh, have you studied about the BCG metrics? Boston Consulting Group has suggested one metrics.
Yeah, the BCG metrics.
I'm sure. Then you must be aware about the stars and the cash cows, etc. Right? So most startups which have the scalability possibility of scaled up, but then they do not have the profitability aspect. In such cases, majorly, this cost and profit dimension got disturbed, and that is the reason that more than 90% of startups, they failed in the first 3 years or 5 years of their existence. So profitability, yes, it's very important. Unless this is a niche area which is supported by the government, we generally call them social entrepreneurs, right? There are many instances of social entrepreneurs. The government supports them, but ultimately, and at the end of the day, profitability is an important dimension. Whatever business, whether it has the potential to be scaled up or not, it must solve the problem that it is a profitable business. At the end of the day, if it is not profitable, it is not going to sustain for a long time. So in the short term, yes, there are so many startups which are not in profits, which always incur losses. There are many examples. I'm sure you are aware about many of them. But profitability in long term, that is something that will help you to sustain. Without profitability, a business cannot sustain. You see, in a private sector, government cannot, issue the bailout packages. Government, particularly a government of country like India, it has a lot of limitations, right? The resources are limited and the expenses are too much. And then the government has to invest a huge money into the welfare systems also. So the government cannot support the startups beyond the limit. You see, as I was talking about the seed grants, Startup India movement offers huge amount of corpus, huge amount of money to the early entrepreneurs, but beyond the limit, government cannot support. So profitability is very important. At the end of the day, you have to generate profits, you have to generate the resources for your sustainability. Right, Nirvesh?
Yeah, agree, sir.
Very interesting question, Nirpesh. Dr. Ola and Dr. Yelena, I suppose Nirpesh will have some idea because he's a very intelligent boy. He's studying the BBA, Financial Investment Analysis, and he listen all guest lectures very seriously. And he has probably, it looks to me, I feel that he has some business idea, and I'm sure he is going to be the job creator in the future, not the job seeker.
It's a very pity that in Ukraine we don't have such a variety of governmental program to support startups. It's only could be support from private investor, and mostly from private investor from Europe and from the USA, and they focuses only maybe on startups that could be potentially profitable. But on the growth stage. So they mostly focus on profitable startups. They don't consider any kind of startups, even if such kind of startup should be sustainable development oriented and so on. Unfortunately, the situation in Ukraine
it will improve. We are sure it will improve. You see, one more thing. In India, the government is also not only supporting the early entrepreneurs, but it is encouraging and supporting the incubators also. It is encouraging the academic institutions to establish the incubation cell in the universities, right? You were talking about the disconnect between the academia and the industry. In India, the government currently is trying to fix this problem. They are encouraging the universities, government universities and the private universities to establish the incubation cell therein, so that the students can be supported with their business idea. Gradually, it will be a game changer. It will take time, of course. Such things cannot be changed overnight. It will take time. But I'm sure in the coming decade, it is going to be a big transformation from the job creators to the job seekers. It is going to be like this only. There will be many people like Nirpesh who will be focusing more on creating job rather than looking for them.
Yes, but we are trying at the university in Ukraine to implement such kind of initiative, but we don't have support from the government. We are trying to connect with business, yes, and business separately could support some initiatives. But unfortunately, it's not systematic, support, system support of all.
And that is required. You mentioned in the presentation the government policy is the very important thing to sustain and to encourage the entrepreneurship as a system, to create the entrepreneurship ecosystem. So
thank
friends,
you so much for your insights and that you shared your experience of Indian experience. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Students, do you have any other question?
Good evening, Dr. Ola. I'm Dr. Neha Tomar from IBS.
Hello.
Good evening.
Dr. Neha, please go ahead.
Yes. Dr. Ola, one of the BBA student asked a question in the question answer query. So I repeat the question for you. What key activities would you recommend young entrepreneurs to invest their time in?
Okay, it's a great question. If you're talking about young entrepreneur, I think that that can invest their time to take part in different startup contests and to take part maybe in business incubation and acceleration programs. But based on my experience working with students, they have knowledge, they know how to do and what to do. But the main reason maybe is the fear. They fear to start something. So I think that we can solve this problem if they could take part in all programs, incubation, acceleration, and try. So it was, it was a invention for me that they know everything, they know how to do, but the main reason is the fear to fail, I think. So we should to try to enable them to be more confident. So to tell about maybe, as I mentioned in my presentations, one of the main elements is the culture of entrepreneurship. So to tell about success story, to engage them in this activity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ola.
Good evening, ma'am.
Anmol, please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Myself, Anmol from BBA. Ma'am, actually, when we start a business, we are full of fear and doubt at the time we are starting the business, that what will be the future of our business. So how to overcome that fear and doubt that we have in our mind while starting our business?
Okay, so you said the main stage, so we only should start, yes, we only should start our business, and then we could find maybe different opportunities and different possibilities to scale up our business. So to your point of view, we should only start, yes, this entrepreneurship journey.
See, the question is how would we start up the business, and if we are going to do a startup of the business, so then there is some factors that the business is going profitable or not. The question is exactly this.
We are full of fear and doubt while starting our business. So how to overcome that fear that we have in our mind?
How to overcome that fear? Yes, the question was about this.
Yes, because sometimes we start the business with raising the money from various sources. So if the business won't be profitable, then we have the risk to pay off that loan. So how to overcome this fear that we will be successful in our business or not?
Okay, I think that it depends on the situation, but there are a lot of opportunities such as crowdfunding platforms and crowdfunding sources of attracting finance, and there could be a lot of possibilities for young entrepreneurs, yes, of starting a business, and they can, or you can attract this additional money, or you can find angel investor who she or he would be interested, yes, in your startup idea. So I think that there are a lot of possibilities to start a business and to be profitable. But I think that if you're talking about startup, I will agree with Dr. Fenda, maybe 95% of startups fail in 3 years. Yes, so if you're talking about the chance, but the chance is always you can I think that you can only try to use all the chances and try to maybe to find and to use different sources of financing, and it will help to overcome this fear.
Maybe Anmol, you
ma'am.
see, fear lies in your mind, okay? You have to get out of it as early as possible. It's not only about being an entrepreneur, being into the job, right? Fear is fear. That does not allow you to use your true potential, right? You see, Harvard Business School gives wonderful definition for this entrepreneurship. They say entrepreneurship is the relentless pursuit of your goal without being bothered about the resources available to you. Right? What happens in the beginning of the business or maybe beginning of the startup, because the outcomes are uncertain, whether the market would accept your idea or not accept your idea, whether you will get consumers, whether you will not get consumers. This uncertain outcome put the entrepreneurs into the stress, into the pressure, into the fear, right? Now, this is the place where the mismanagement of the resources starts. If you ask my personal opinion, Anmol, most business startups, they fail not because of the business idea, not because of the poor business idea. They fail because of the poor management, because of the poor leadership skills, because they do not know how to use the resources available to them. So the better idea is, if you have the idea, better you focus on the idea. You hire the professional to manage your organization, spend some money, arrange the resources. Better you focus on your idea and to refine the idea with the passage of time, and let the system be managed by the professional. But what happens in most cases, these startups which failed, right? They tried to do everything by themselves. They do not understand that the ownership of a business is different and management of a business is different. So this differentiation, because they are not capable of doing, that is the reason they get into the trap, and more than 90% of them, they failed because of this. It's not about the business idea. Whatever a business idea, if you work hard, it will excel. It will be a successful idea, right? But then get out of this fear. You only have to get out of it because it is there in your mind. It is a lie which you have told to yourself. So don't be bothered about your uncertain outcomes of your business idea. Trust. If you do not have in your business idea the complete and absolute trust, who else will have? You have to live with your idea.
You
right?
know, it's like the famous phrase, just do it. It's about this.
just that is the best answer.
I just only want to add that many investors says that we will not invest in idea. We want to invest in a team. So
That's
if you're
true.
talking about entrepreneurship, so you should gather your team, and some particular idea could work or not, but mostly investor says we will invest in a good team. So please gather your team for your startups.
That's very interesting.
And
okay,
just do it.
Yes, please. That's interesting. Okay, friends, so I think it is the time to call it off. It was very interesting discussion. So let me propose the formal vote of thanks. I appreciate our management here. I'm seriously and I'm sincerely thankful to the Vice Chancellor and the Registrar of the ICFAI University, Dehradun, for their support and for their enthusiasm and encouragement they always extend for such kind of activities. I'm really thankful for sharing the words of wisdom on the entrepreneurship and innovation to our guest speaker today, Dr. Olha. My appreciation and thanks to Dr. Yelena Prokhrova for taking initiatives, and not only taking initiatives, but I appreciate, Dr. Yelena, that you always be there in the session throughout from the beginning to the end. So this is really appreciable thing. Thank you very much, Dr. Elena, for supporting us. I also would like to convey my thanks to the faculty coordinator, Dr. Neha Tomar. She has taken a lot of initiatives and she has taken a lot of pains to coordinate the activity with the students. I'm just passing on the information to him. Rest everything is done by her only. So thank you very much, Neha. My appreciation and thanks to the students for joining this wonderful session. It was a very interesting session. We will continue to organize such sessions in the future also. Probably next week, maybe Thursday or Friday, we will have some other session from our guest from Kyiv National Economic University. My sincere thanks to our IT teams also. Thank you very much, Lalit and Divyam, for being there and organizing these technical things for us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, friends. Thank you very much, Dr. Ola. Thank you, Dr. Yelena. Thank you,
so much.
Dr. Neha. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much.
We'll
Dr.
see you
Upendra.
next
Thank
week.
you.
Divyam, we can close the meeting now.